NFL division favorites. Now, I'll tell you, the Early Edge team, the SportsLine team, we're going to be doing a lot of content. You're going to see a lot of it on social media, but of course, you're going to see the shows as well, the shows, the podcast. We're going to be doing a lot on actual futures, and we've already done some NFL division favorites, win totals, things of that nature. You just saw Larry release a piece on TikTok and YouTube, among other outfits, about some of his win totals that he loves. And honestly, I co-sign a couple of those as well in a big way. Kind of high on the Browns this year. I know Larry is as well. But let's start, Larry. I'm going to start with you. Let's talk NFL division favorites. Which one of these preseason division favorites would you take to win their division?
I'm going with the Detroit Lions, and excuse me for going against everything that history tells us, that they will always let us down, that they will always fail, because I do believe this is a new era. When you finish 8-2 down the stretch, when your brilliant OC, Ben Johnson, does not move on and is back to lead an offense that not only has Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown, but Jameson Williams coming back after the gambling suspension, and then Jahmyr Gibbs, to me, the most exciting rookie in the NFL, averaged over 6 yards to carry, over 10 yards to catch. He's going to be electric. The offensive line is strong, scored 30-plus points 8 times, and the defense was not as bad down the stretch. They had 4 good cornerbacks, starting with Brian Branch out of Alabama, but also Emmanuel Mosley, Cam Sutton, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So they have beefed up the defensive backfield, and you look at that division, we know Minnesota was very fortunate last year. They won every coin flip game imaginable. The Bears, coming off a 3-win season, should be better. And then the Packers replacing Aaron Rodgers with Jordan Love. So I think it's wide open for the Lions this season at plus 120. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I definitely think the Lions are probably the right play. I'll tell you, I kind of like the Vikings, where you can get them in some places at like plus 300, plus 310. In other places, it's plus 250, so it's not quite as attractive. But I get the Lions argument. I do think the Vikings have done some things on defense, maybe to improve the defensive backfield a little bit. And I still think offensively, they've got what it takes to at least compete with the Lions. I'll tell you, the last 3 games for the Minnesota Vikings, 2 of them are against the Lions. The other one is against the Green Bay Packers. So that's really going to be interesting. This division really could be decided in the last 3 weeks. Martin, we haven't heard from you yet. And before I give out my pick, I do want to ask you, I see the Philadelphia Eagles on this screen, and I got to think, you're not necessarily an American football guy. You're a football guy, but not an American football guy. It's got to be the Eagles at minus 105, right, Martin?
Indeed, Sia. That just looks like a terrific price on the Eagles when you consider they cruised the division title last year and they've strengthened in the off-season. So I don't see why they can't go on and win it this time around. Minus 105 looks like a great set of odds. Could even parlay them with the Chiefs to win their division. Looks like a very good option to me.
Well. Maybe he is an American football guy, because I got to tell you, folks, let's put in the chat awesome stuff, Martin, or something like that. That's I didn't expect that. I got to be honest with you. Listen, I know you to be a soccer guy. I didn't know you were an American football guy, and you took the words right out of my mouth. I like the Eagles minus 105. I think, listen, Martin, to your point, I think this is a pretty generous price. And the reason I say that is because as good as the Giants are, I think they can compete for a wild card, but I don't think they can compete for the division. And so to me, this is almost a head-to-head matchup, kind of like what you'd see in the NFC West with the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, we know Arizona and the Rams are not going to be competing there. So that's kind of why I like paying the steep price on the Niners, but I prefer to pay the minus 105 on the Eagles, because against Dallas, listen, Dallas is going to be good. Their offensive line seems to be back to full health. They're going to have Tony Pollard. They're not going to have the anchor of Ezekiel Elliott weighing them down. No Kellen Moore calling plays. I don't think that's a huge loss, but maybe a loss. Either way, the Eagles went from rich to richer, especially in the draft, increasing the presence on that defensive line specifically. Obviously in the running game, they've got that. They got Mariota as a backup to Jalen Hurts, which I think is a serviceable backup. And of course, they still have Devontae Smith, Goddard, AJ Brown. The trenches for the Eagles on both sides of the ball are just so good. And so I think, honestly, I would probably put this number at like minus 130, minus 135.